Let's go. All right. Make sure we straight over here. We good. Levels is good. Ow. Put the drum on my foot. All right. So, Urban Therapy with Sunsun 752. Saturday. Y'all ready? But y'all, word. What up, Stacy? Grown woman, don't try me. What's good? Y'all know how Saturdays are. Saturdays be feeling like Monday Eve. Because it's almost like Sunday never happens. But you gotta roll with the punches. No? Like buddy, help me out. So we talk about change today. We talk about change today. And y'all know how hard change can be for some people. Routine is easy. Even when the routine is bad. It's like going with the devil, you know. You understand? But we're going to see what it's about. We're going to talk about change today. Why does change seem to be so hard for so many people? Well, Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 1:30 p.m. till around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I am your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the rrrr. And if you can't say Omar with the rrrr, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should today. And today is Saturday, the 20th of the month. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I just saw September 1st, Labor Day. I just saw that joint like a week ago. It must just be me. I could have sworn I just saw Labor Day. I just saw the beginning of the month. And now here we are at the 20th of the month. It's just me. It's just me. Are we in a time warp? It's just me. You know what I mean? I need to talk to the people that feel like time is going slow. Because to me, it seems like it's like even, I ain't gonna lie, even paydays are coming fast. You'd be like, yo, I'm getting paid again? Now, that's taken for granted. You know, paydays only seem to come faster if you spending your money slower. If you spend your money fast, paydays can't come fast enough. You know, you'd be like, yo, why can't they pay me every week instead of every other week? I need my money every week. I can't make it. I gotta borrow till next week. I gotta beg, I gotta steal, I gotta sell something. But anyway, so today we're talking about change for who? Change for what? Change for who? Change for what? All right, so you know what? Let me get the hardware out of the way so I can explain what we're gonna be talking about to y'all in detail. Cause it's about to get real up in here. So when we talk about making changes in our lives, you know, making changes in your life can be some of the hardest, grueling, most time-consuming things that you could ever do, especially just making the conscious decision to make a change. Because a lot of times, you know, when you start talking about making a change in your life, normally you have come to an area in your life, in your existence, where something is not working the way that it's supposed to be working. You know what I mean? And coming to grips with that is not always an easy thing. Coming to grips with the fact that you're not perfect and you may not even be good enough. It's not an easy thing to come to terms with, but we all have to do it as part of our growth. It's part of our maturity. It's part of our learning. It's part of our lives. You can't go through life being one way, learning one thing one way and never changing it in any kind of way. And sometimes we forget about that fact because we are in that keeping it real type of culture, that type of thinking, that type of belief. But what's more real than realizing that this ain't working? Maybe I should do something different. Sometimes our pride and our ego tell us to stay right where we are, no matter how many failures it may be bringing to us. Sometimes our pride and our ego tell us that we already know enough, we're already good enough, you should take me the way I am and whatever. And in some instances, that may actually be true. It may be true. But you know, when you start taking personal inventory of your life and you realize like, well, maybe I don't make enough money for the things that I want. And maybe my love life could be a little better because it could be non-existent, you know. And that's a real tricky one, the whole love life one, because people don't want to submit to changing for somebody else. For a lot of people, that's like a fate worse than death. Like, I'm not changing for no man. I'm not changing for no woman. But maybe you'll change for love. Because you either want it or you don't. What's going on? Maritza Allberg. What's good? No, that's not Maritza Allberg. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm going off of... That's Marvina Bigby. What's going on? What's up, Marvina? Glad to see you here. Good looking out. And Jeff Sprayberry, thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Cheryl Halsey, always from the heart. Appreciate you. So yeah, it's one of those things, like changing for somebody else is one of those things that most people would rather never admit to doing or whatever. But there are people who have admitted to doing and doing it. And even if it doesn't work out for them, they're proud that they took that step. Like, well, look, it seemed like it was worth it to me at the time, so I did it. Now, I mean, personally, I can't imagine being married to somebody or loving somebody enough to marry them, but not loving them enough or respecting or trusting them enough to make the changes that are necessary to make sure that this union is not just together, but happy or satisfied or, you know, going in a harmonious, going in the right direction, on the same page. So maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe for my situations that I've witnessed in life, maybe that works. For somebody else, it might not work. But I know that the money thing is something that gets a lot of people attention. You know, when you're working at a job and you don't make enough money for the things that you want, you know that when you're working at a job and you don't even have enough money for the things that you need. Like, you might be driving a car that you can't afford to keep the maintenance up on, or even put gas in. How you going to say that you can afford the car? You can't say that. Some people might rationalize it like, well, you know, everybody got problems. That's not the kind of problem that you want to have. But it is probably a really direct signal that you probably need to either work harder, try to get a raise or promotion at your job, or maybe even get a second job, or scrap that job, go find another job. Well, but let's not put the cart before the horse. Go find another job, a better job first, and then you quit the job. So many people say, oh, no, I'm going to quit. I'll find another job. Oh, yeah? You'd probably be finding another house or another landlord for the rent, too, because they ain't trying to hear that you going through this phase of self-discovery, and you ain't going to have the money. You ain't going to have the money that it costs to live in this place. You know, this big palatial area that you live in, you know? You know, so you know when your money ain't right. And you know when you're not treating your money right. You know, like, there's probably not anybody listening right now who doesn't know if they spend too much, shop too much, or don't save enough. Like, if you ask yourself right now, how much money do you have saved? Like, how much money do you have access to right now? Right now, even if you have to go to the ATM right now, because you can't say your 401k because you can't access that, you know, right away. That's 401k is like not having your own money. Is it just me? 401k is like it's like having money that's not yours. You got to go ask for it. You got to get approved for it. You got to pay it back. That shit's crazy. You know what I mean? I don't like 401k, but I recognize the necessity of it for people's retirement and stuff like that. I probably, well, that's a whole nother story. But nonetheless, you know when you're not, you know when you need to make changes in the way that you handle your money. You know when you need to, you know, roll back on the spending and really start to prioritize the things that you so-called need versus the things that you want all the time. Because I'm just like everybody else or anybody else. I want stuff all the time. I'm a wanter. I'm always wanting something. But I've learned to control myself to the point where I don't have to have everything that I want right then and there. You know, I save up for some stuff and blah, 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 blah. I don't like bills. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like bills. I don't. If I had the choice, I wouldn't pay any bills and I would have everything, including the money that would normally go for bills. Oh, hold on. No, I'm not going to stand up this whole show. Just in case y'all were wondering. No, not going to stand up for the whole show. But, so do y'all get the gist of what we're talking about today? Y'all, do y'all feel what I'm talking about? Dimples D's is in the house. What's good? What's good? Good to see me some you. Always good to see you. So yeah, we're talking about change for what? Change for who? Change for what? Change for who? And like, you know, listen, there are times in all of our lives when we have to make those changes. We have to make changes in our lives. And it's part of our growth. It's part of our maturity. It's part of our learning. It's part of our journey. It's part of our person that we have to make changes. Now, when you decide or when you have decided in the past to make changes in your life, ask yourself, what has sparked that? We can talk about it in the chat, you know what I mean? Or you can just, you know, think about it for yourself. What changes have you made most recently? If y'all would be so kind in the chat, could you put that on there? What changes have you made recently? You know, like, and it could be anything. You know, you could have, you know, stopped drinking or cut down on it. You could have decided to join a gym and get yourself in shape. And, you know, that's indicative of knowing that you're not in the kind of health shape that you would like to be. Maybe you've gained more pounds than you're comfortable with. I would definitely fit that category, you know? So, you know, yeah, and that's not an easy thing for a lot of people to do or to even admit to themselves. Like, you know, you're a fat tub of lard. You can tell yourself that you don't want in the mirror. Or some people are afraid to have mirrors around their house. They don't have no mirrors around their house for that very reason. They don't want to see themselves. They're running from their reflection. That ain't a good look. And if that's the case for you, then you know that you need to make some changes. Maybe you need to make some changes in your diet. I'm sure your doctor would probably agree, like, yeah, it's time for you to make some changes. Changes, time to face the strange changes. Watch out, all you rock and rollers. But yeah, that's real shit. And changing your eating habits is not easy for a lot of people. You know, I mean, I know people, you know people. It may even apply to you at certain times when you might be a slave to whatever's on your plate. You know, some eating habits are more than just cultural for some people. Some people is political. Like, there's some people who politically don't believe that you shouldn't eat meat. Now, I mean, whether you choose to eat meat or not, that's a personal choice. But, you know, not eating meat, I don't think that should be something that should be warranted by governmental intervention. Like, your body will tell you what's good for you and what's not so good for you. But will you listen? That's the question. Will you listen to your body? How many of us listen to our bodies? Some do, some don't. I get it. I totally get it. But there comes a time when you have to listen. And during that time that you're listening, you have to make some changes. Now, making changes for yourself is normally satisfying. Making changes for others normally takes a little bit more prodding. Like, some people won't change just because it wasn't their idea. Pride and ego, baby. Pride and ego. Keeping you down in the dumps. So if you look at the poll question, we got 11 votes on the poll. When it gets up a little bit more, at least above 20, I'll read the results of the poll. But, the poll question deals with those kind of things. Like what are the hardest things for do you think, what are the hardest things to change? Drugs, alcohol, overeating, losing weight. All of those things kind of take on the same mind state. They deal with the same part of the brain. You have to stop doing something that you have gotten comfortable with. Now, as far as eating is concerned, we all got to eat. We have to eat to live. But are we eating to live, or are we eating to satisfy ourselves? Yeah, it sounds like it could be the same thing, but it's not. And you know it. You know it. I know it. We both know it. So most of the things, especially in American life, we eat just because they taste good. Which is interesting how we get hooked on drugs and alcohol, because most alcoholic beverages don't taste good, especially those of y'all who drink straight. When you drink straight liquor, you can't say it's because of the taste. Can you? I know when I used to drink straight liquor, I was like, I never liked to drink straight liquor. That was never my thing. Doing shots and all that kind of shit. I didn't like that. I would drink mixed drinks. It would be a whole lot of alcohol in the mixed drinks. Like 3 or 4 shots in the mixed drink, but I'm not taking three or 4 shots to the head. Get drunk too fast that way. But speaking of alcohol, that was a change that I had to make. Had to do it. Wasn't a choice anymore. I had to make that change. It was getting me into nothing but trouble. It wasn't helping me out in life in any kind of way. It was not serving me. It wasn't serving me. And the time had come. I asked for the time to come. But when it came, I was like, but I know I've prepared myself and everything, but am I really ready? Well, you know when you're really ready. Because when you're really ready, there's no turning back. Sure, you can backslide, relapse and things like that, but excuse me, for me, that's indicative of the fact that you're not ready. You might not be ready for the change that you need to make in your life. I understand. You just might not be ready for the changes that you need to make in your life. Well, when will you be ready? When will the table be set for you? My brother Ansel Jones is in the house. What's going on, my brother Ansel Jones? How you feeling, my dude? How you feeling? Ansel says, you eat what's on your plate. That's true. But you know what? You also put whatever is on your plate on your plate. So yeah, if you put the stuff on your plate, I can understand why you would eat it. But you have to think about the motivation to put the things on your plate in the first place. And when you say plate, you might be talking about food, or you might be talking about situations. Because, metaphorically, having something on your plate can go a lot of different ways. Please, y'all, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Do me that one little solid and everything will be all right. Just hit the like button. I ain't going to ask you to do much else. Just hit that like button. The good old like button. Yes. That good old like button, and everything will be straight. It's going to be straight anyway. Carla. How you feeling, Carla? But let me see. But yeah, in the comments, what are the most recent changes that you have made? And it could be anything. Yeah. It could be anything. Shoot, you could be talking about the way that you've changed your home decor. Like, I've been rocking the same blinds that the cat scratched out. People think I'm nosy. It's because the cat I can't keep no good blinds because the cat keep wanting to look through the window. He bend up the blinds or whatever. But I did see what Miss Janice was doing across. But anyway, so most recent changes. Like I said, but you can change the way that your house looks. Maybe you got new furniture. Maybe you got curtains instead of blinds, shades instead of blinds, like whatever, or painted your house. I used to live in a house that was painted, eggshell white. You changed it to blue. You live in the blue house now. And making changes to your house sometimes sometimes it's a fulfilling thing for your attitude, for your mood, for your psyche. Sometimes it's really a good thing to just go ahead and change your surroundings, change the way some things look. Women do it all the time, man. Women love to change around their bedroom. Like first the bed was against the wall. Now it's closer to the windows. Oh, she took the bureau. The bureau used to be closer to the bed. Now she moved it all the way over there toward the door. And looky here. She stopped living out of those clothes bins. You know those plastic bins that you get from Walmart. They might have them at Target too. You know, those storage bins. The plastic storage bins. Big tub, you know what I mean? Good for keeping seasonal clothing items in. Right? All my summer stuff is in the storage bins. Gotta take them down the basement. Put them in the closet if they fit. Stack them. You got storage bins stacked from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, you got so many storage bins because you got so much stuff. You done forgot what's in what bin. Might be a good idea to go ahead and label them things. And that's a form of a change too. Maybe before you weren't keeping track of certain things, now you are. I'm talking about changes for yourself right now. What are the most recent changes that you've made? Let me see. And so says I used to love ramen noodles, grew out of that phase. I can dig it. All right, so y'all ain't talking. Y'all like don't worry about the changes I'm making, son. Don't worry about it. Just know that I've changed something. All right, cool. You know what? I ain't pressed about it. It's cool. Y'all ain't got to participate with me. You know what? I'm cool because my skin is thick. And those are the changes that I've made. Changes from being so sensitive, ultra sensitive, to being able to just, all right, well, you got it. Everything cool. Everything cool. Nah, I'm just playing around. What up, Time? What's good? What's good? He says, all is well. Stay consistent and healthy and never lose faith in yourself. Great question, but I believe it's all of the above. Well, it can definitely be all the above, but they're not going to, all the above are probably not going to all come at the same time. There may be times when you have some of these issues, but not other, the other part of these issues. You know what I mean? Like, for example, there may be times when you were good with your weight. You didn't really need to lose weight. I mean, let some of these nutritionists or doctors tell you you got to go by the BMI, the body mass index. And it's so hard to get, I'm never going to make that. Barring illness, probably, but I don't know if I'll ever make the BMI cut. Anybody in here make the BMI cut? Is anybody within the sound of my voice considered to not be overweight? So let me tell y'all something. On Sunday nights, well, on Sundays, I spend time with my mom as sort of like her caregiver. So, I have to take her vitals. So we have to take her oxygen level, take her blood pressure, and her weight. So when she gets on the scale, it tells, she has a digital scale, but it verbalizes the whatever weight it is. So it'll be like, your weight is 200 blah, 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 blah pounds. So every time my mom get on it, she like, well, I'm a little heavier today, but I was lighter 4 days ago. And if I go pee, then I'll be a little bit lighter. But I get on the scale too. You know what I'm saying? I get on the scale too. So at least once a week, I'm up on, whatever I weigh. And, so I know that I've had to lose some weight, because at this stage in my life, gaining weight is a lot easier than losing weight. Even when I'm doing more things to lose weight than I'd ever done. Like I've started doing more cardio. I run in place for like a half an hour. You know what I mean? At least 3 times a week. For a while, I was doing it like almost every day. But like at least 3 times a week, I'm doing it every day, every weekday. I wasn't doing it every day, like on the weekends too. So, and I feel the difference. It hasn't shown itself in weight loss for me, which is the main thing that I thought it would do. Because I'm like, I got to lose this gut. I'm not going to be acting like this shit is okay, because it ain't. It ain't. I've always had, no matter what weight I was, I've always had a little something. But I also had, I got some definition. I ain't got no 6-pack, but I ain't, But when my mom get off that scale and then I go get on it behind her, it gives me a nice little reminder every week. Like, yo, I don't know what the fuck you doing, but you need to do more. You need to do more. You ain't getting over with big arms and shoulders no more. You got to lose some weight, son. You know what I mean? You got to do it like you do women. The titties got to be bigger than the stomach. Well, that's why when I fucked up my rotator cuff, that's why it was such a big deal. Like, shit. Can't do the push-ups. Can't do the bench presses. But it's all good. I'ma still work on it. So that's a recent change. That's a change that I've made recently. Like, I gotta get on my shit. Now, I've been in the health and fitness my whole life. I know better. But see, I'm not as young as I used to be. And I used to hear the old heads talk about how much harder it is as you get older to, get in shape and stay in shape. I used to be like, man, whatever. From what I know, at any age, you can still build muscle. You can still lose weight. You can still, but you got to switch up things. You got to do things better. You got to do something different if you want something different. Now I'm living this shit and I'm like, this is some bullshit. Bullshit, I tell you. BULLSHIT. So good. What up, Tori? Tori 2200 is in the house. What's good, ma? Always good to see me some you. Always. Marvina says, I got a puppy. When my husband died, I needed that change, that distraction. I am alone in life. I hear you. And yo, they say that dogs and cats, pets, especially dogs and cats. They say that they are a good stress reliever. You know, some people like animals more than they like people because animals will just listen, and they seem to gravitate or react to your personality. So yeah, that's good. I'm glad you did that. And please, from me to you, please keep your head up. Please keep your head up. You know, uh, it I'm sure it's a tough period in your life, but all try to always remember that you're still here, and while you're still here, you have to live on and take care of yourself. So good luck to you. Many blessings.
You have a call from.
Yeah. All right, Stacy. Welcome to the welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. What's on your mind this afternoon? What's really good?
I have too many numbers of you in my content, and I couldn't get to the number.
Mm. Well,
I had to erase those numbers.
yeah, because they ain't working no more.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I didn't delete.
Mm-hmm.
The topic is really hard. It's hard for me because change is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. I still have to deal with, my weight issues. Like today, I like me some fried pork chops, but I don't eat pork as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to decide if I want French fries or yellow rice. That's a hard decision to make. I'm watching my weight, but I think I'm doing real good. I'm not just watching my weight. I'm also watching my spending habits. That's a hard one. Women love to spend. So my bills be paid. I just don't, I'm trying to learn how to make a statement, and it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay your bills, you lucky if you have $30 left.
Depends on how you pay them and how much they cost. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the day's living, So I want to be like my granny. My granny used to save. She knew how to save. She used to read books. She had that stuff in check. So
Yeah.
I want to be like her. She was in control over that, and that's not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not easy, but it's doable.
Okay, so what alerts you, or what has alerted you at times when you had to make a change? What alerted you to the fact that it's time to make a change?
When I got sick and tired of being broke after paying my bills, and then I actually saw it visually on a YouTuber, and when she said that she was she was had her savings, she was living off her work income, and she didn't have no savings, and that like convict my soul.
Okay.
And I was like, that don't sound good. That don't sound right.
I mean, well, that describes a lot of people, living from check to check. That's a lot of people.
It's just, I didn't like, I don't think my family is like that. I think they're good at saving, they saving too, But me, and my blessings, I never had to save for a rainy day. God always came through for me.
Yeah.
I never had to save for a rainy day. I always get my problem taken care of. And that's not leaning on my family either.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard with money. It's hard. I don't want to be, I know it's a lot of females. You have to find yourself, hold yourself accountable. Because I see a lot of females, all they do is shop. Sometimes you can go in your closet and you still have the tags on in your closet. It's something you bought. So out of impulse. I don't want to be like that no more.
Okay. Okay. So when it came to your spending habits, are you the type of person that has to get whatever you want? Like if you see it, you gotta have it? Or are you able to chill for a minute and wait to get what you want
Yeah, I used to be the type of person that I had to have it, but now I'm like, now since I've been saving, I notice the triggers. I get what I need now.
Okay.
I don't get what I want. I get what I need, and if God blesses me over to get what I want, because I notice that depression come down on me. I notice that my love language is I like to go and buy, and that'll calm me down. So right
Mm.
now I'm fighting that depression too. So it's like you are not going to spend because you're going through. You're gonna find out a way to work with that.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
You
So
gotta find out a way because you'll go broke.
you will.
Spending everything you said.
But a lot of people don't seem to have a problem with being broke. I've heard people make excuses like, but at least I got what I wanted.
Yeah, and that's not good because the joy after you got what you wanted, you don't have no joy in it. For it don't last long, or sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. After you got to spending, And I remember, like I said, uh, today when God it was been at me today to go in it. I'm like, I'm not going in it. I'm not going in it. And he was like, if you gotta go in it, just take a little. Don't take a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was the type of person I spent it all.
Oh, really?
And I was spending all. As long as my bills are paid and I get what I want, I was spending all. Like, yeah, it's a reason why he ain't in my life right now because I ain't ready. I ain't ready. So I'm learning how to have a relationship with my money.
Mm.
I don't conquer everything that I needed to conquer. I need to conquer how to save.
So let me get some clarity on what you meant by like you would spend it all. So as long as your bills were paid, you would spend all the way down to zero.
Yes, and I didn't like it. I would go shopping and it would give me a thrill. Like I said, retail therapy, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that retail therapy is a real thing.
It is.
It is.
It's a real thing. And I'm fighting it right now because it's good in some cases, but not all cases. I don't need to have that, like, in all cases when it comes to me. I'm trying to learn how to save.
Yeah, the dangerous thing to me about retail therapy is that you really feel like you're doing it for yourself, but at the same time, you can be damaging yourself by putting yourself in more and more debt, which can have an even negative effect on your.
And some people don't even pay their bills. They go and do retail therapy and ain't pay their bills. My
That's
bills
true.
will be paid. Everybody don't think alike.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody certainly does not think alike. So yeah, that retail therapy, you got to watch out for that. So
Yeah.
so so would you say that in your life you've made many changes just for yourself, or
Well, I'm just trying to be a good example. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just sit here and not get nothing in my life and just waste it just to be here.
Mhm.
So I always been the type of person that was looking for the future. So ever since I was younger, so I changed for I guess my future self.
Mhm.
I had changed, but if I knew what I know now, I would. I don't know if I would have changed or I would have, I would have took my time.
Yeah.
I would have took my time, but I did change in a lot of areas. I'm not the same person I was in the past.
Yeah, I can dig it.
I'm not, and weight and stuff. I do miss alcohol because I don't drink. I wasn't never a drinker, but it just ended up leaving me.
So you
So
don't drink anymore?
I drink wine, but that wine is not like liquor.
Oh no.
Wine is not like liquor. No, that's not like liquor. And I used to drink a hard stuff.
All right. So you cut down on your drinking. You haven't really eliminated it.
But well, I have eliminated. It's like a wine. Wine is. I got a bar for just to make it look pretty. I don't be drinking it like that.
Okay. All right.
I'm
I mean,
scared to get a buzz in my apartment. I don't know what it happened.
so but when you drink wine, don't you get a buzz?
Yeah, I get a buzz, but not like liquor. Liquor will give you. It'll take you where you need to be. And it don't take much for me. So
When I used to drink, I considered liquor to be faster, but I considered wine to be longer. Like that wine,
yeah,
a
yeah, you're
wine,
right.
a wine drunk be lasting a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't turn that bitch off. Like, yo, chill. It's tomorrow. Stop,
Yeah.
wine.
And
Stop.
and I never picked up that smoking habit, so I'm good in that area. And I can imagine the people who do smoke.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great accomplishment. I used to Black and Mild. I would smoke Black and Mild, but I never got addicted to it. It was just to get a buzz.
Okay.
So and
Okay.
it come to my mind, and it's like I be one because when the apartment I'm in, you can't smoke,
Mm-hmm.
so they had to go to a certain area to smoke.
Yeah.
And one of the things, when my mama was alive, she noticed that I never picked that up, and she was glad and proud of me that I never picked up smoking. It's not good for you. That's really not good for you.
Okay.
But it's not biblical, nowhere. We just know it's not good for us.
Mm-hmm.
So just little areas that I'm working in certain areas, like I said, sometimes I make it. I be so mad at myself and sad when I don't pass the savings test. I be so hard and guilty on myself.
Mm.
I
Okay.
don't like it.
Let me ask you this: Have you ever felt the need to change for somebody else, or has anybody ever asked you to make changes with yourself for them?
I never had that test or trial. I always change for myself, and then I got people in my family that's younger than me. I do it for them, but as far as somebody else, no.
Okay. Okay. So you've never been with like a boyfriend or something, and maybe y'all didn't get along very well. And maybe he told you that he didn't like your attitude, or maybe the way you talk to him, or something like that. And he
I
asked you,
have, yeah. I was working real good. They said that I had a temper. I was doing really well, and I think it just went all out the window with stuff I was going through. I'm like, I'm not going to change who God made me be and made playing in my face.
"Hmm,
I'm not going to do that. I got to protect myself. So either he likes me as I am now, or he don't like me. I just, I choose to go solo. I can't do that. Just don't push me over that edge where you can't see Jesus.
okay, but like okay, if you really like a person, all right, you know what, huh?
I ain't saying nothing. I'm listening.
Okay, so check this out. All right, so you used to drink a little bit heavier than you do now, right? You cut down on
Yeah.
that. So what if you what if you met somebody and y'all were getting close and y'all started going together or whatever, and they didn't drink at all? And maybe you know how alcohol makes you different.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to be an angry drunk or belligerent or crazy or nothing like that, but it makes you different. So what if you found out that the alcohol was kind of getting in the way of your relationship, and he asked you to slow down a little bit? Would you take it into consideration?
I was trying.
You would try. Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I asked you that because a lot of people would say, no, I ain't gonna stop. Their first line of defense is, I'm not gonna stop this for no man, or I ain't gonna do this. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
If it would help him out, yeah, I would try.
Well, that would be helping him out, but wouldn't it be helping you out too?
Yeah, the sacrifice. Yeah, I'm doing it like right now. I sacrifice. I don't, like I said, I don't hardly drink like nearly what I used to drink because I do have somebody in my life, and not only he could see, he got the gift to see, what's going on when it comes to me.
Okay.
So I keep drinking like that.
Okay. But no, I'm not. This is all hypothetical. I'm not saying,
I'm hypothetical. Well, it's a real thing with me. So
okay.
Yeah, I put it down for you. You can't say I did that.
Okay. You did it.
So and they say some people can't handle drink because alcohol is a disease.
That's true.
And yeah, so yeah.
So yeah, a person that drinks or smokes or uses drugs and stuff like that, dealing with a person who doesn't do any of those things, it can be hard to stay together. People have done it, but it can be a real challenge. And there might come a time when, one of y'all has to bend the other way. So either the sober person has to start drinking in order to keep up, or whatever you do, or the person who drinks has to slow down so y'all can have more sober moments, so y'all can have a greater connection. So you don't want the person who's sober to start abusing, because that ain't the right direction to go into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would never forget. I hope I'm not getting off the subject, but I would never forget when in my past. I've been over here for like 8 years. And when I first moved over here, I was in a relationship. And anyway, the guy, he did drink. So while he was with me, he didn't drink. And it was very peaceful. And I think he was making he had a sober mind when he was with me. So he knew exactly what he was doing when he was with me. Because I ain't nothing on no liquor, no nothing. Because it was, it was like we was in the church, but not in the building. You know what I'm saying? And it was too quiet and too peaceful in the relationship. I guess he actually told me that. He actually told you what? It's too peaceful because I wasn't no drama. I didn't drink. He was sober, so he knew what he was doing. Okay. No, he wasn't a Jacob on me. And that's how I get my enemies. I'm like, when he drunk with when he with y'all, he drunk, but when he with me, he's over. So, that's the way I would use, how I would fight back. Because sometimes alcohol, you don't make wise choices. I'll say, so, yeah. You can get with the wrong person you don't want to get with. Yeah. Yeah. Alcohol can definitely get you in some bad situations, even if it's just bad karaoke situations. It can still it can get in the way. But yeah, a lot of people don't want to think about ever changing the way that they are or who they are or how they do things for another person. And I think that a lot of that has to do with power issues. Nobody wants to have their power taken away from them. Yo, your microphone is making a lot of noise over there. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Stay still. Stay still. Stay still. Stay still. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, but yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with trust. Like, why would you change yourself for somebody that you don't think would do the right things with the changes that you're going to make? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But at the same time, myself for trust. It had to be the right person. I'm not just changing for anybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you shouldn't.
But the thing is, you know, you still have to take some of the things that a person tells you into consideration if if you trust them, if you admire them, if you love them, if they're the type of person that you want to be with. You have to kind of ask yourself, well, why wouldn't I want to change for this person or be a better person for this person in a good way? Now I can understand you if somebody is trying to get you to make changes that are really just for them. Like, well, I need you to make my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No exceptions. Even if I need you to get used to that. Even if you're sick, even if you're tired, even if you're busy. Like,
Yeah.
I can understand being a little resistant to a change like that because that sounds like a power move that somebody would try to make.
Yeah. I think so too because, well, if God is going to bless you with something, He's going to prepare you for that. So you're going to already be doing that and getting used to. Because I used to didn't be a breakfast person. I always been a lunch person and dinner. But now I make myself get up and I do breakfast and I do lunch and I do dinner. I don't know where God is taking me. I don't know who He's going to add into my life. I know He's going to add to my life and not take away from me. But I need to be prepared. Because sometimes I don't be feel like doing it and I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it just to do it. And I would used to say I would do it just to take my medication. But you know, you can do that and just grab something and then that'll be it. But no, I would do the whole thing, either cereal or breakfast, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see God working and preparing. He always prepares His people when He got something for them. So
I think so too.
today I was just saying, because I wasn't feeling my best, because my arm gets next to me, that doggone accident that I had, I missed my mom.
Yeah.
And, you know, my mom prepared me before she died. Because she knew life would be kind of hard for me.
Yeah.
And I know how to cook, I know how to bake and everything. But it really got next to me because these days when I'm not feeling my best, my mama would just take over.
Okay.
And I really expressed to God how much I really miss my mama, how much I really need her. And He just supernaturally gave me strength.
Okay.
And I got, because I could tell I had to fight through depression every day. I fight through it. And I thank Him every day. And then I thank Him because I got a roof over my head, I got food in my fridge. I fight through it. You know, and when I can't do it, I just ask Him. I talk to Him.
If your mom could talk to you from heaven, or if she could convince you from heaven, what changes do you think she might ask you to make in your life? And would you do it?
To really be honest with you, and I'm not even you know the topic you had last week. My mother would be proud of me and she wouldn't ask me to change nothing.
Okay. I ain't mad at that.
I've been doing it all for her, you know, doing it for her and me. I've been living my best life.
Shoot, you got me thinking about my own question. Like, I wonder what my dad. I wonder what if he. What changes would he want me to make? You know what? Probably one. It would probably be more financial.
Mm-hmm.
He would probably. I think the change that he would ask me to make was to like, yo, start stacking your money. He'd probably say, go buy some houses. Go buy some houses, Omar. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta work 9 to 5 or whatever hours you work. You know what I mean? You wasn't raised that way. You wasn't brought up that way. Why are you still doing this? You don't have no problem saving money. You know what I mean? Go ahead and invest your shit so you can get out of this maze. That's probably the change that he would ask me to make or want me to make. And I definitely would do it. I'm trying to do it now, but I am dragging my feet. And that might be a change that I need to make. You know, stop dragging my feet on certain things, like certain things that are going to benefit me. Because he was about that cash. Wasn't no doubt about it. Well, he was about that money. Hold on. In the comments, Time says, my dad always told me don't conform to anybody because people won't conform to you unless you are giving them something. I hear that. At the same time, I know that there are times when we have to change, even for people or situations that we don't want to. Like, for example, when we go to a job, when we get a new job or a new position or whatever, they're not going to pay us to stay the same person that we were. So you know, I named the show Change for What, Change for Who. There's sometimes there's a what and sometimes there's a who. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, what if you say for instance, you know you're saved and you know you feel with God's word, but God didn't call you to the church, he calls you to the world. And you are an actress and you are a actor. What parts are you going to get? Are you going to stay in that same part, or are you going to do what God really told you to do? You know, you have to be careful with what parts you get, because sometimes art imitates life.
Okay.
You know, and there are a lot of Christians that's actors and that's actress. They ain't came up on their face, but I know the real ones, they really do their part. And it ain't always spiritual. You know, they do what God, you know, what God led them to choose. But that don't mean that, you know, they have their relationship with the Lord. That don't mean they changed.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Nah.
You still carry your faith.
No, you're right. It's just that I just feel like there are times when you have to make changes even when you're not ready, because the situation just might warrant it. Let me present this situation. Let's say talking to all my hustlers out there, my street hustlers out there. You know, they out there selling drugs or whatever, and they might be making enough money to take care of themselves and take care of their family, have money left over and everything. But they know that at the same time they're putting themselves in health danger. They putting themselves in legal danger. You know what I mean? They're taking a big chance on their life out there. And a lot of drug dealers have children. They got kids. And so I always wonder, like, do they think about changing the way that they're living for their children? I'm sure that some do, but we have more than enough evidence that not enough do, or not in time. You know what I mean? Even if you look at that Charlie Kirk situation recently, I'm not going to say that it was all his fault that he was murdered. But at the same time, I would argue that he didn't take his family into enough consideration given the impact that he may have had on people. You understand? But I don't think that he would. I think that if he had survived, I'm not sure he would have changed anything, because I think that he had convinced himself that the way that he was thinking and the way that he was moving was the right way. So I guess literally, figuratively, and literally, he died for what he believed in. Okay.
Yeah. Like, social media has changed a great deal. I had a Facebook page. This is the page that I have is my second page. Well, the first page I had, more than what I had on there. And I'm thinking I'm just talking to family and friends. I ain't know nobody else was looking at, what I was doing, I'm not trying to put my family in danger, or nothing like that. I'm just letting the people around me know what's going on with me and my family. If I had to go back and do it again, wouldn't nobody know nothing. They wouldn't even know no pictures or anything because I didn't know I was moving wrong.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it done turned out. When it's supposed to be just you and your family or friends. Because they wasn't hitting their like button. They sneaking on there looking at your stuff. They is looking, but they not participating in what you're doing. I would change that part because I'm very private. I'm very protective over my friends and my family.
Okay.
Period. Because, my blessings falls off of my friends as well as my family too. So yeah, that change is not easy. Sometimes we don't like the change. Sometimes we have to change.
There's no doubt about that. But a lot of people don't change even when it's time for them to change or when they quote unquote have to change. They don't change.
Yeah.
They put that change off. So just like I'm talking about in the case of the drug dealer that I was talking about, they probably will put off changing because they think that they can do it just a little bit longer. And all they need is a little bit more time. But in the meantime, the money is coming in and possibly they feel like, well, I got money put away. I got some money invested over here, blah, 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 blah. They may not have a whole lot of legal investments, but they may have some irons in the fire otherwise. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about having children that every parent realizes real soon after giving birth.
You have a call from.
Yeah. Every parent realizes that they have to make changes in order for their children to be okay. Because you're no longer living for yourself.
Yeah.
You're no longer living for yourself. So for people who say that they wouldn't change for nobody else, I always ask them, well, what about your kids? Because if you wouldn't change even for your children, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Something is wrong with that.
Even with me. And that's why I have kids that's close to me. I still have to move the way I move, and it has to be safe, so they could be safe. They might not be following my blueprint, but you never know. And like I said, I don't know who was looking at me, when it comes to them. Because I don't have no kids. I can live really the way I want to live, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't choose to do that. But, if you was like I was, people be like, I ain't got no kids. I can live and bring whoever I want to bring on I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, some people, because my family, before they got married, before they had children, they was out there in the streets.
Yeah.
Kids change their life around.
Mm-hmm. And they should.
Yeah. Their salvation is in their marriage and their kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I said, when, for anybody who says, I wouldn't change for nobody or you shouldn't let nobody change you, well, what about your kids? And of course, they're going to try to make an exception to that, like, well, yeah, that way, but not no man or not no woman. I'm like, well, why not? Didn't you have the children with a man or a woman? You know what I mean?
I kind of like take that back. Like I said, God is preparing me anyway because I noticed the change when it came to the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So
yeah.
I know I just let God have his way. Then I'll be used to it by the time He add on to me. to be doing that and to be getting up early. I get up early. I'm like, why can't I sleep in? No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I get on
Let
my knees, I pray, and I do what I gotta do.
Okay. Let me address something in the chat real quick. Between Time and Tori 20. Yeah, one of y'all phones is on some bullshit. I'm hearing nothing but feedback.
It's your phone.
Oh yeah. It sure is, because I hear all of that shit. It's my phone, all right. But yeah, I wanna talk to Time and Tori 2200 for a minute. Yeah, Tori. Yeah, there are a lot of programs in Philly that will like first time home buyers programs, but those are for homeowners that are going to live in the house, just like you were saying. You know what I mean? They're not talking about investors. Like if you want to like buy 4, 5, 10, 20 properties or whatever and fix them up and rent them out, get money that way, like actually building a career off of being a landlord. That's what we used to do, me and my dad. So they don't help them out very much. They'll help out investors from other cities and states who want to come into the city and gentrify the city, or like basically tear down all of the existing homes and push people out of their properties and buy them out and shit like that. Because niggas will definitely take a quick 50 grand, 100 grand or whatever, and sell their house. So they'll actually help those types of investors. But the small businessman that's still working, you know what I mean, trying to get a couple of properties so they can provide decent housing for people and also collect rent every month and supplement their income. They're not interested in helping them. Ask me how I know. And Time, you're right. The process in Philly that it takes to eviction. I mean, the eviction process in Philly is grueling. It's grueling. It's very, very one-sided and crazy unfair. It is. And that's what I don't miss about being a landlord. It's a pain in the ass. It kept me frustrated. It kept me pissed off because your tenants think that you living high off the hog, and they shouldn't have to pay because you already getting paid by all these other people. They don't realize that if everybody else had the same mentality as they had, then now you starving. So you sitting on these gold mines of buildings, but you ain't got no money. Yeah, and I know what it's like to be pulling in 30 to 50 grand a month and ain't got no money today. We had a payroll and all that kind of shit. It's not sweet like a lot of people think it is. But good stuff, y'all. Tom says it is very grueling to get people out of an apartment. I would not be an owner of an apartment complex because the squatters and the people have too many rights to stay in the building. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people just want to buy properties and flip them and do it like that. But that's a slow process that will pay off. You sell a property, you're gonna be paid, but it's a process. You know what I mean? And you have to decide whether you're going to flip those properties as is, or are you going to invest money and fix them up and really get the money. In which things will take a lot longer because you got to rehab the place, remodel the place, find a qualified buyer. Yeah, you got to make those decisions. My man Troy Diesel is in the house. Man, feeling like a real man should. Good to hear from you again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I ain't talked to you in years, man. Damn.
Yo, it's been a whole lot of minutes, man.
Yeah,
more than I choose to count.
I should have left you without a short rhyme with step to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Time's up. I'm sorry I left you.
All right, man. So we talking about change for what, change for who. So, what what are your initial thoughts when you hear that? Change for what? Change for who?
You know, first and foremost, change change is sometimes hard for us, especially when it's for the betterment of for other people, and sometimes it's best for making changes for the betterment for yourself.
Okay.
You know, when you sit back, with change come humbleness, and a lot of people don't understand that you really have to humble yourself and dig deep within yourself to make changes, especially for the betterment of a relationship, for the betterment of a job, you know, or even for a betterment of your health. You know, when you're so used to being the person that you are, and all of a sudden, let's say you so you so you quit, you live in life, and all of a sudden your doctor say you diabetic, you got to stop eating this.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to make some changes, and it's baby steps, because your body became so good to craving what you want to eat. So now you got to take baby steps and making them changes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you just dive right in it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take them baby steps when it comes to like being diabetic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been trying to make changes with digging deep into my faith and praying more and listening to gospel music to make this stuff. So, because I know, you know, like Stacey was saying, that depression kicks in. And when that depression kicks in, you just want to be within yourself. Sometimes it's some of a self-meditating, but with music and with prayer.
Right.
You know, because I've always seen my mom do that, you know. And the thing about it is, you know, when it comes to relationships, it's hard to make changes, because if the other person doesn't realize that they have to make change, and they're asking you to make change, when the person tells you to change this, change this, change that, and you're willing to make the change, but they're not willing to make their changes for the betterment of the relationship, then you're walking around kicking yourself in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be one way. Cars just can't go one way. You can't go to that fork in the road. You always got to go straight when you make a change for the betterment of a relationship. Even when you get a promotion in a job. The things, I always use the analogy of Tony Terry when he said, the things I used to do, I don't do no more. Places I used to go, I don't go no more. Just part of life. You have to when you make those changes, you know, people might think it's a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
People might think it's so much other things, but it's so much better to make a change for the betterment of a relationship. And that's why relationships don't work. Because instead of making it together, you want to single out what this person ain't doing, and you want to change them, but you don't want to change yourself. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm gonna make sure I tell him what he's doing wrong, and I'm asking him to change.
Okay, but like a change can't exist in a vacuum. So that's what
Right.
So when we talk about you know, change for who, change for what, or change for what, change for who, when you decide to change for somebody else, it can be looked at as compromise.
Yeah.
You know, it can be looked at as negotiating. It can be looked at as cooperating. There are a lot of ways that you can look at it, but at the end of the day, if you're changing for another person, it's probably not your idea. You're doing it for the betterment of that union or that relationship. But there's so much trust involved in that.
Yes, it is.
So if you don't trust a person, you know, you're probably not going to be so open to changing for them. You might not even like the way it sounds, like changing for you. You know what I mean? And I totally understand it. I get it. But there's so many other areas where you would change. Like, you know, like people, all right, so since you was talking about your faith, all right, so you'll change for God, but you won't change for God's creation. Why not? At least God's creation can tell you what changes need to be made. God ain't gonna tell you that. You just gotta rely on your faith and your feelings for that. And I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but these are some of the things we don't always take into consideration when we start talking about whether we would change for somebody or not. And I think that there just comes a time in everybody's life where you have to change for somebody. It's not always a choice. Because just like when I was talking about the kids, you don't make no changes for if you still living like you were when you were childless and now you have kids, there's going to be a problem.
Well, you just said something a minute ago when you brought up CK. You know, I'm trying not to say the name because I don't want to bring any trolls in here. But you know, when you brought up CK and his demise, and I can understand everything you were saying. But now let's go forward. Now his wife has been voted the CEO of the company that he was part of, and she's taking on the initiative to push forward his message and not even thinking about her children. And that's what you're talking about. That's exactly what you're talking about. Because how is it that your husband gets shot because of a situation that, you know, even though he should have been shot, because you can't knock a person for their beliefs, you can knock them for verbal disagreements. But but that part. But if that happens, why not just try to make sure that you and your children are safe? Why jump into the realms of I'm going to be a martyr, I'm going to take on this? You know, everybody, and that's like a drug. That's like a drug dealer stance. You know what I mean? I grew up with people when one of my brothers got killed on the street. Right? I call them brothers because I grew up with them. When one of my brothers got killed, right? And his brother was doing great in high school, got a 4-year scholarship to college. All of a sudden, he had to come home and take care of that business and drop out of college for the betterment of the family. You know, because they were so used to making sure that money was coming in.
Yeah.
You know, so that shit, I mean, compromising that and doing that and making changes within your life for the betterment of the family and other kids, that's like really fucked up that he had to do that. But the other thing about CK wife, you seem to have your husband. You got two daughters. Mm-hmm. Why? Why would you take on that responsibility, knowing that there's a consequence behind that?
There's a consequence behind that, but I could understand part of why she would take it over. First of all, you know, I mean, it was mad dough involved. That's number one. She's not just going to sit on the money that he made and chill like that. So she knows that because she can profit off of her husband's death and, you know, quote unquote, keep his legacy alive. Yeah, she going to do that. And for all we know, he groomed her to do it. You never know what a husband and a wife might talk about behind closed doors, especially when they know the kind of impact that they have out here. But as far as changes are concerned, yeah, I think if Charlie Kirk was still alive, I think that he would probably do the same things that he was doing.
Most definitely, and it'll be even stronger because he survived. So you know, when you get shot up and you survive, you go harder. You think that you are, I made it through that shit. That ain't hit me hard. It couldn't take me out.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go even harder. Now you think that you're supposed to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah. You might actually feel that way. So, you know, and then when you have it don't hurt that you got millions of people out here mourning your death or you know, supporting you in that way. I mean, that's how you was making all of that money in the first place. You know what I mean? Now you got the government on your side because they considered you to be a advocate for them, a soldier for them, and all it's a mess. But nonetheless, you know, making a change for your children is making a change for somebody else besides yourself. And if you can change for your children, you can change for your job. If you can change for your job, you can change for your friends. If you can change for your friends, you can change for your lover or your wife, your spouse. You know what I mean? Like, so, but, being able to trust that the change will actually benefit you in the long run is something that we probably have to take a look at. Now, I thought about this. Just like, how like your job might want you to, or might require you to get training for something, you know what I mean? And it might not have been what you signed up for. Like, for example, let's say you got a job. I'm gonna go old school on them. You got a job doing data entry. You know what I mean? Straight. Now, let's say your job wants you to start doing more administrative work. So now, besides the data entry, you're doing, filing and keeping records and basically relating to clients and doing relations, whatever. Now, you might say, well, nah, that's not what you hired me for. That's not my position. Or you might say, all right, well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Because you might see the benefits of the fact that you take your skills with you. It might be a pain in the ass having to learn them, but they don't keep the skills that they taught you or that they gave you. You take them. So another employer is going to pay for those skills that you got, even though these things might have taken up your time, made you come in on days or times when you were off or whatever. You know what I mean? You get to take those things with you. So I'm thinking that if you get to keep the physical attributes that you have trained for by somebody else, why can't we look at it like, if I change my personality, like maybe I do better with my anger issues or being dismissive. And you know how, some people like this, and I know some people like this, don't know what to say out of their fucking mouth all the time. They just feel like they should just be able to say whatever. You know what I mean? And they're not always trying to hurt somebody's feelings, but they just feel like, they got that mentality like, well, if ain't nobody else gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. Not realizing that maybe nobody else is gonna say it because nobody else feels the need for it to be said. But you do, and so you always take the liberty of going there. All right. So dealing with somebody like that, that the way that they do things can be rude, it can be obnoxious, it can be off-putting, and it can get in the way. It can seriously get in the way. So getting them to change that is going to be hard. But if they want to be with you bad enough, if they can see the benefit of doing what you need them to do, yeah, I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but there have been times I was dealing with certain chicks, and I had to tell, I said, you know what? We ain't gonna make it because you act like a dickhead. And the size of their eyes when you tell them that, but they know you ain't playing. Like I could have said, you're being an asshole, but no, you're being a dickhead. You act like a dickhead. And because you see, an asshole is kind of aware of their impact. They, a lot of times they doing it on purpose, but a dickhead might not even be aware of what they're doing.
And the thing that you just put out on this, I never knew that there was a definition between assholes.
I think about these things, Troy.
You created definitions. Now, are they nouns or adjectives?
I'm just saying. These aren't just random insults. When I call somebody a dickhead, I'm like, I mean the shit. And a woman ain't used to being called that. And I'm not used to calling her that. But when
you go that route, it's serious because that's what they really did. A woman is used to being called a B word, but never a dickhead.
Right. And now it was pretty obvious to her that what I'm saying is, you know what? I'm not impressed with you. I'm very turned off. You know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to make a change. So every time I've done that, a change got made. A change got made because they thought about it, like, and they knew they wasn't doing the right, you know what I mean? They knew they was tripping. They knew they, you know what I mean? Like people who don't know what to say out their mouth, they know that shit. But enough people have instilled confidence in them to keep doing that shit that they haven't felt the need to make no changes. So sometimes you gotta walk them up to the change that needs to be made. Because it's like, it's either that, you either stay the way that you are and be with somebody else, or you're gonna make that change and be with me because you're disrespecting me. And you're thinking that it's okay. You're thinking that I'm gonna submit to or get used to you being disrespectful. Somebody's phone, Stacy, God damn it.
It's yours.
It's my phone.
It's Stacy. It's Stacy. No, you need whatever you put the phone on mute. Put the phone on mute. That'll fix all of that.
Okay.
All right. So
my phone. It's your phone.
Yeah, all right. It's funny how my phone stops it every time I blame you. That's
okay.
Look, that's really what I call a smartphone. The phone know how to hide. Like, oh shit, he talking about me. Let me get out of here.
I'll put it on mute.
Yeah, your phone is acting like a dickhead. Fix that shit. but yeah, and I'm not saying that it's cool to be disrespectful, but when you've had enough, you've had enough. And sometimes you gotta let a person know, like, yo, that's enough. I've had enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shutting this shit down. Know the way that you are ain't cool. And of course, they've tried to defend it and shit like that. Well, I mean, that's just me. You know what I mean? Like, who you expect me to be except for myself? Nah, that you have other versions of yourself, and you need to explore. You need to explore some of those other versions because this version is on some bullshit. And I'm not going forward with this version. But if you change your personality, switch things around, it ain't nothing wrong with handling somebody with more care. There's nothing wrong with not being rude. There's nothing wrong with not being obnoxious. There's nothing wrong with thinking about what you say before you say it. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. But people will defend those things to the hilt. You know what I mean? You gotta cut the bullshit. But I was saying all of that to say this. If you change your personality for somebody in a positive way, you get to take that with you.
Right.
So you're not really changing for that person, but that person might have been the catalyst for the change. They are the ones who sparked the change. They may have directly asked for it. I need you to be different because I can't do this with you being the way that you are. I can't do it. Now, if that person means anything to you, you go ahead and do it. It may not.
You know what, son? I agree with that. But when you make the change, right, and let me give you a scenario, right? When a person asks you to make a change and you make a change for the betterment of the relationship, and then that person, after you make the change, they don't see the change because they still is set in their ways. then you making a change makes it look like you really didn't make a change for the betterment of the relationship because they don't see it. They don't understand that you made the change. You know, if a person, let's hypothetically say, somebody say, protect my heart, protect my feelings, my insecurities, this, that, and other. There's only one way you can do that, and that's by being upfront and communicating and being trustworthy. So when you're being all that, you're being trustworthy, you're being upfront, and you're communicating, and that person goes back and still wants to be disruptive and create narratives that don't benefit the relationship because they're set in their ways, then you just sat back and made changes for what? The changes you just made are not even being looked at. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
because they're set in their ways.
Well, maybe you can't honor a change that's that only goes one way.
Right. Now that's what I was looking at.
Yeah. If somebody is asking you to make a change and they're not willing to make any changes, like it's all on you, then I'm not so sure that you should take that change into consideration because if you are already a decent person, if you're a considerate person, if you are, if you're a helpful person, well, what changes do you need me to make? Like maybe my approach to being considerate and helpful and decent are maybe a little different than what you're used to. So we can work on that. We can all work on our delivery, right? But if you tell me that I'm the real problem, even though I'm helpful, considerate, and decent, well, okay, so what changes you gonna make? Because maybe we should get you a pair of glasses. But there has to be, if a person will not compromise, how do you trust that person? If a person is...
You just said up there, you just ran down, with changes come compromise and comes negotiation and all that stuff. And everything you just said is what's part of making them changes. You have to negotiate with one another. Well, I'm going to change this. But what changes are you going to make to benefit the relationship? It's not that I'm asking you to change, but if you want me to change, you have to listen and understand that I'm making the changes. You have to have an understanding of it and be like, you know what, I appreciate it. I see he's changing.
Troy, years ago, I'm not sure if I mentioned this on this show before, but I probably have. Years ago, when I was in my 20s, I read this, I was reading, Men's Health used to have this catalog of books. Besides their magazine, they used to have these catalogs of books that you could order. They was good. It was good. A lot of good shit in them joints. You know what I mean? And one of the volumes was about relationships, marriage, and all that kind of shit. And they gave this little exercise that they encourage you to do with your woman. And they said, if you and your woman have been having problems, and even if you haven't, to keep the lines of communication open, one of the things that you can do, and what up, idiotic genius? Thanks for coming through. One of the things that you can do is sit down with your woman and ask her to write down 10 things that she really likes about you. And you write down 10 things that you really like about her. Now, do the same things with the things that you don't like. And ask her to do the same things, and use your discretion about which one you present first. Like, do you want to start off with the things that you don't like and then end off on a good note with the things that you do like? Or do you want to do it the other way around? You know what I'm saying? So I never forgot that exercise because I did it. And at the time it was helpful because number one, it was creative. It's definitely not something. It's something that she liked, but she didn't think of it herself. And it showed her that at least I'm thinking about this kind of thing. You know what I mean? It didn't fix everything, but it fixed something. And if you can fix one thing, you can work on fixing the other things that are broken, malfunctioning, You know, some things might just need a little oil. Some things may need to be reset. But anyway, so that's something that you can do. Now, in a situation, and that is a form of a change. That's a form of a change. And if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't want to participate in something like that, because that exercise was a straight therapy move. So you might be dealing with somebody that's not interested in going to therapy. Okay, that's a lot of black people, unfortunately. All right. That doesn't mean that you don't have to go to a therapist in order to get therapy. You don't have to do it. What you got to do is you have to learn some things, try some things, be creative. And most men and women are exactly that, especially when it comes to things that they want. Have you ever seen somebody who wants something really bad, the things that they'll do in order to get it, like somebody who really wants a particular car? You see them saving up, you know what I mean? Getting people to co-sign or be a reference for the car loan, whatever they got to do. They do that shit so they can get what they want. Now, you take that same kind of energy and you have to ask yourself, well, what if what they want is you? What are they willing to do? Not that you should be playing hard to get or keep away, but there might be certain things that you need. Women don't seem to have a lot of problems letting you know what they need in order to be okay, in order to feel okay. But they got to listen to you too. And,
Right.
and maybe,
Right.
maybe there's some things that you have to do in order to get them to listen in the way that you need to be listened to. So with that being said, you look at the changes that somebody is willing to make for you, you know, because we can change a whole lot of cosmetic things. You know, he or she likes my hair like this. Okay, you can do that. But is my hairstyle gonna make you happy? The way I dress or whatever, is that gonna make you happy? The way she dressed, you got mad chicks out here getting crazy cosmetic surgery out here. I've hardly ever seen a woman who got cosmetic surgery for her actual man.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, as long as your phone don't start acting full.
Would you change for somebody if they wasn't comfortable going out in the street with you when you had those gold chains?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Because I've actually been through that before. But I can't deal with no scaredy cat chick. Now I might be wrong about this, but I feel like I'm too old to be getting robbed on the street for some chains. And that might be because hold on, that might be.
You don't see how you look.
I look like somebody that's going to defend myself and whoever's with me.
Well, yeah, but you could draw different kind of spirit.
But I tell you this, Stacey, I don't go places where I think that there's a good likelihood that that's going to happen. You understand what I mean? I'm not into putting myself in dangerous positions. So I don't wear my chains every day. You know what I mean? I don't. You know, and even the struggle bees, I don't wear them every day. You know, I wear shit like this every day. Now I wear my rings and my bracelets.
Yeah, I just wanted to know your mindset.
No. That's actually a good question because it's a safety issue. And if a woman that I'm dealing with doesn't feel safe with me, that's a problem. So asking a question like that that's a good question. You know what I mean? Because even though I live in Philly, I don't live in my mind, I don't live in the Philly where that's going to happen. You know what I mean? I'll hop out of the car, go in the corner store, whatever. I see the thugs out front. They doing what they do. I'll be like, hey, how y'all doing? I always speak and all of that shit. They, that in my mind, they thinking, oh, old head, you know what I mean, wearing this shit. Well, yeah, and I do. They don't know. They don't know what I'm working with. You know what I mean? But trust me, out in the streets, I'm never all alone. you know,
Okay.
you know, I got God in. I'm good. You know what I mean? But no,
Okay.
but once again, that's a good question because that is a
So you
safety
got
issue.
God and you got your cousins with you.
I do.
That's from the Smith. That's from the Smith family and the Weston family.
Yeah, I'm we all right. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want to, you know,
Yeah, I try
even
my best to. I don't. My cousin name is Thomas Glock, and I try to tell him he can't go everywhere.
listen. Yeah, I can't always, be out there on sitting on chrome. I can't always be sitting on chrome. But like I said, I don't go to places where I think that that's going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. You always
And
got to
and
be.
and to be honest with you, like I'm not going to die over no chains. I'm not dying over no jewelry.
Well, I'm just asking you that because I'm saying if y'all was coupled up and y'all dressed now, people get jealous of stuff like that, and you dress nice, and she with you, she's dressed nice, and they looking as y'all walking. It's troublemakers,
Yeah, but we not in our 20s. We not in our 20s and 30s, so there ain't no troublemakers. Like all of that shit is, all of the stuff that you talking about really happened, back in the days. I haven't dealt with nothing like that, and I don't know how. At least 20 years, at least. Like we not there no more. You know what I'm saying? We did this. If it's anything I like about being in my 50s, this is it. Like fuck all. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. You know what I'm saying? We not doing that. But um that would be a conversation that me and her would have to have. I would have to let her know, like, don't worry about me and don't worry about us. We in good hands. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure that nobody bothers you and nobody bothers me. We going to nice places. You know what I mean? We going to the good part of North Philly.
I'm good for you because I was just last week. I haven't felt safe in a long time, and I'm in a good area. And I know I don't draw. I'm like, what you call that? I'm very respectful, and I don't draw, negative. I don't bring attention to me, but I know that I'm very blessed. I dress nice, and since being under you, I stepped my game back up because I'm not in the hood no more, and I just started feeling safe, really safe. I ain't talking about peace. I'm talking about safe. It's a difference.
Mm.
I just started feeling that way last week because you have people that's envying and jealous of your life. And they don't know what you did to get it or whatnot, but it ain't like it was just given to you. You work for it. I know I ain't the type of person. There's some people that'll bring that stuff on them. Some women will bring that on them. Showing off their body, whether it's natural or not. Some people will bring, just drama. But I've seen bring stuff that I don't want on me. and sometimes I had to put back, my clothing the way I want to dress because of the areas I was in. But then I was like, forget that. I want to wear what I want to wear. And but you said it's for young people. But when it comes to me, I'm 54 years old and I still get drama.
Mm-hmm.
I still get drama, even in my apartment. Sometimes when people come on my apartment, I was gonna just like piss stuff up so I won't, change jealousy or whatnot. Because people look at you and look at the stuff you have in your apartment, and they get jealous on how you living or whatnot. I didn't feel like going through all that. I know God had told me. I heard God's voice to do that, but I didn't do it. But I know it's out there. People are just you chose the person you are, but they don't know you don't work hard. At what you got, you don't work hard. You don't sold and did a whole lot. And I was just wondering how you would take it, with the nice outfit, the nice shoes, and the nice chains and whatnot. Because people, right, it's just ignorant. Sometimes it's ignorant like shit. And I was just wondering, I know you don't want to be with no scaredy cat or not, but you don't know if that person that's with you is scared or not. You wearing them chains.
No, people who roll with me don't be scared. They don't. Because they know, because you got to understand, there's a certain, it's different. Like you watch me on a screen or whatever, it's different than standing in front of me.
But I've seen you in the street too. It's a very big difference. And you look completely different when you're in the street. I'm looking at you like, and you got lookalikes in Detroit. Stop you seeing lookalikes.
I'm about to say, like, you see me? No, but what I'm saying is,
I'm just saying what I'm saying is the type of person, the image that you have, you look very different. And I'm like, can you really I'm talking about security wise, protect and not so much provide, but really protect. I need to feel safe. And I know the type of woman that I am. I know even as me being your friend connected to you, I know I bring some kind of stuff, enemies. I bring enemies. My cousin said I don't have enemies, but I have them. I see them.
All I'm saying is this: when you are around me, it's a different kind of energy than when you see me from afar. Because anybody who knows me, and Troy can tell you, like, I'm not I don't move in certain kind of ways. I'm very aware of my surroundings. I know what's going on. And I just don't, like, nobody is afraid when they are with me, because they know that I'm not going to put you in dangerous situations. And I'm not going to take you to any dangerous places. And no matter what, you are protected and secure when you're in my presence. We're not playing around like that. Like, this is not.
I done had females step to me and say, I done asked your man, and I wish I could tackle you, but I have a lot to lose, and I get somebody else to tackle you. So I done had some crazy shit stuff, came to me. It's a wonder if I ain't gave up my hope. I'm really, I watch what friends I have around me, who I choose to be my friend, who I hang with or whatnot. It don't have to be in a relationship or nothing like that. They don't know. Mm-hmm. That's the reason. I just was wondering when you went to you look nice. I'm not just saying very nice and the stuff, but I know what comes along with that, whether you in the hood or whether you in the suburbs, you do get looked at, and they still do what they do.
Yeah, but like I said,
I hung out with Son numerous times, and we both move in the same way. And that the most important thing about it is when people don't have an understanding of who they moving in the same way with, then what Son is talking about is making them change. You can't move with that person. And when you with a female, she should have an understanding how you move. It doesn't matter what you're wearing or how you carrying yourself around that person. That person should know that she's well protected. Now, you do know you're not going to put her in harm's way. You'll put yourself in harm's way before you put her in harm's way. You understand what I'm saying? In parts of Philly, even if you go in certain parts of Philly, right, when Son is going into a store with his chains on, them young men know, it doesn't even got nothing to do with the still or the pole. It got something to do with the individual. As soon as they look at him, they know, no, we ain't messing with old head. They know that because of the way he's conducting himself.
And there you have it.
This times I done went to an area where I seen young boys, and I know I shouldn't have walked in there, but I walked in there anyway. But I said, yo, y'all be careful out here, young man. Because at the end of the day, they should know who they are and conduct yourself accordingly. Plus, I move differently because I'm covered. I feel like I'm covered by God. And if that's what's going to happen, that's protection about what he wants to happen, not because of what the person wants to do. So I'm not going, if you cover within your spirit, in your faith, you can't, I just feel like I move differently.
I feel like I'm covered in myself, but I still have these problems and these issues. And I'm not, I don't like it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Stacey. I ain't trying to cut you off, but Stacey, these same problems you've been having, you know what you need to do? Make changes. And the changes you need to make is the changes you used to make is stop subjecting yourself to bullshit. Sometimes you need to alienate yourself from people who's gonna cause you problems, and stop listening to them. Stop listening.
I made as much as change as I could get. I can't help how people. I gotta live my life. I cannot. I done came to the mountaintop. I can't, help how other people feel about me. I'm here.
Right. So if you can't help how other people feel about you, then don't think about how other people feel about you. So that means you can't carry it in on your heart. The only person that can judge you is who? God. That's the judge.
Yeah,
that's the judge, the jury, and everything.
He's been keeping me, and maybe he's bringing this out to uncover what's been going on with me, because I don't feel that I should be, I'm just living my life. I don't want nobody competing with me. Why are you competing with me and you don't even know me? That kind of stuff. I'm dealing with that kind of stuff. I'm dealing with modeling spirits. I'm living my life. I'm in Christ. I'm covered as much as I can cover. I respect who I'm interested in. He respects me. Change, I have did the change, but I still have problems brought upon me. But I understand from a spiritual point of view, if you're not doing nothing right, you have to question your salvation with the Lord. Mm-hmm. But I'm tired of doing right and getting this brought upon me. I don't like it. I mean, I done prayed, I done did what I had to do. I feel safe now, but I haven't always feel safe.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm in a server.
All right, well, look. It's time. It's time for us to make that change, and we about to get on up out of here. That's, you know what I mean? What's that Brady Bunch song, Troy?
When it's time to change, you gotta rearrange.
That's right. Sing that shit.
What you gonna be?
Yes. Woo! Sing that shit. All right. Man. On Jam Brady. All right. All right, yo. I want to thank both of y'all for calling in, hanging out with me. Thanks for your insight. Thanks for your information. I appreciate you always. Now,
with that Brady Bunch song.
Look, let me let y'all know that I won't be here tomorrow because, well, not at 1:00 because the game is tomorrow and that's at 1:00. So yeah, I'm going to the game. Maybe I'll do a show after the game, depending on the results of the game. If I'm feeling myself, we go ahead and take care of business. You know what I mean? Eliminate the Rams and shit. Then I'll probably be feeling good enough to get in front of the camera. If not, I'll see y'all on Monday. All right. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, love you, boy.
All right, no doubt, man. Yo, I'll holler at you in a minute.
All right.
All right. All right, y'all, let's do these birthday shout-outs. We have some birthday shout-outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious September 20th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. S-P-E-C. They get the R-E-O. They get number one out the box, Wayne McIntyre. Wayne McIntyre, no relation. But what up, cuz? My Jamaican brother, what's going on? And also Julius Bertrand, Bertrand, and Sheila Diane, Rolando Ransom, Danielle Walters, Henry Gamillion, Rashawn Bayah, and he's raising money for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia Foundation. And last but not least, Man. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious September 20th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, change. We all got to make them. You cannot stay the same your whole life. So how do you think that you can stay the same on the inside or consciously? Your body is destroying cells day in and day out. Constantly, 24 hours a day, replacing. And those replacements are changing you on the inside. So how do you think that you're going to stay the same on the outside or in your proverbial inside? We all have to change. Sometimes we make the change voluntarily, and sometimes we make the change without provocation. But change can be a good thing as long as you are conscious and trying to elevate with the changes that you make, as long as you're trying to improve with the changes that are taking place. So I hope all of y'all, each and every one of y'all, make the changes that are necessary in your life, because I'm gonna keep on trying to do the same with mine. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, what's good? Thanks for coming through, y'all. Appreciate all of y'all. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Stacy. Thanks to all of y'all without any exceptions. Please hit the like button before y'all get on up out of here. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, keep it banging, y'all. I holler back at y'all. Peace.